Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wadcast podcast. It's the end of the year. It's 2019 is wrapping up. We're about to hit the new year, 2020. We've had so many amazing guests this year. I've got to pat myself on the back. I'm going to do it. You guys know I love to do that more than anything. Well, I want to say, not myself. I just want to say I want to thank all our guests. We have had an amazing guest list this year. With, I've been doing the show, I think a little over a year now myself. And I've got to say, we've had some pretty awesome guests this year. And going into next year, plans are to get, just as many great guests every week for you. And, I love doing this show. I really do. I love talking to experts. I love talking to people that love fitness and work out really hard to make themselves better. And just looking at who we've had in this last year, from Stan Efforden to Miranda and Julian Alcaraz recently, and oh my God, so many people: Tommy Hackenbrook and Duffy Gaver and Mike Anderson and Noah Pester, and oh my God, the guys from Move You and Rebecca Rush, and always, we've had, got to say, thank you to Hunter McIntyre for coming in here all the time. Chris Hinshaw and Julie Fouché and Ryan Fisher and Kenny Santucci, Brian Miller, Kenny Kane, Margot Alvarez, Rich Froning, Dan Cox, Winston Fisher, Gil Reyes, Gary Reinl. We've had Crazy Bobby that's come in, Big Bad Bobby D, Logan Gelbrick, who's a regular favorite, Dr. Sean Rocket, so many, Dr. Jason Worsland of the Theragun, and James Newberry, and Brian McKenzie, and Kelly Starrett, Doug Chapman, Dr. Drew, Buddy Morris, the head strength coach at the Arizona Cardinals. We had James Fitzgerald, first winner of the CrossFit Games ever. Mike Jones of Alchemy 365. If I'm forgetting anyone, I apologize. But Jessica Suver. So many great guests. And I just want to say thank you to all of them. And remember you, Brian Miller, I didn't mention him. Chase Ingram, one of my favorite guests of all. I love Chase. And, Machete for doing such a good job putting it all together. And, he did a best of episode that was hilarious. Troy Hasslinger of What About a Date? Dr. Wes Hendricks. So many people. Coach T. Mudhoney, Kyle Railton, he was a great one. Dylan Schenk, Ben Greenfield. I forgot about Ben Greenfield. Cal Tierman, Jesse Salas from Foundation Training. And just last week, Dave Kalina and Eric Lee. Well, this week we've got a Kenzi Riley, who you guys might know, CrossFit Games, competitor, multiple years, right now doing some challenging stuff. She's pregnant, training as always. Great interview with her that you're going to enjoy. Just want to talk a little administration. I'm taking the show to video, guys. As we go into the new year, I'm thinking, what do I have to do? I got to put some more work into it. Every week, I'm going to be traveling with more equipment. I'm taking equipment with me, tripods, you name it. And I'm going to set up a camera, and I'm putting the show on YouTube. And I'm going to have somebody working with me that's going to clip it, put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook, do some work. We have a studio back in LA now. So go to our webpage. Our webpage needs shit. We got to start working on it, and I want your help. Send me some suggestions, what you think we should do with the Wadcast webpage. I think I should try to be funnier, because I really have gotten like all...
I never know.
Whoa, hey. I've gotten all serious with the show, and I think I need to take it back in that comedy direction, because what do I have to give you? I am a comedian, and I do a show about fitness, and it's mostly CrossFitters or people in the CrossFit world, but I want to bring you some comedic angles. So let me hear your ideas. I've got some ideas of my own, and we'll put them up on the website. I'm going to try to make a cool website. I mean, I already have wadcastpodcast.com. We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. You can check them all out. And we also have a Patreon. That's where you help out the show by donating. All you got to do, you can donate $1. You can donate $5. You can do it one time. You can do monthly. If you do it monthly and you give us $5 a month, that's almost $1 an episode. You can get yourself into a drawing to get yourself a Myopux, which is an electronic muscle stimulator, which I'm about to go hook up to my father-in-law and try to fix his tendons behind his knee. $5 a month. That's all. It gets you in the running. This week, Ken Cooper. How are you, Ken? Ken Cooper, you just won yourself a Myopux and a leopard claw. Leopard claw is a scraper. Scrapers are great, especially with all the tendinitis-y elbows you have out there. You just scrape that forearm, all that, underdeveloped extensors, because your flexors are really developed, your extensors aren't developed, and it gets all gooky in there, and you gotta scrape that, get rid of all those adhesions. So the leopard claw is beautiful. It says Wadcast on it. The Myopux is incredibly portable. Take it anywhere, hook it up to yourself, and it's going to help you recover a lot better. It sends electronic muscles stimulation to your muscles, pumps the blood, takes all that bad blood out, brings new blood in, sends the bad blood out to your lymphatic system, and expedites the inflammatory process. How's that? Did I explain that well? Well, since I did, you should give us $5. $5 a month, and then you might get one. Good chance you'll get one. How about that? How's that sound? Our buddy Troy over there at MyPucks takes care of you. What else is going on? I usually talk about my live dates, but I want to talk about who is coming on this show. I have been booking people left and right for this show. I'm thinking next week I might do someone here in Lake Norman. That's where I'm staying in North Carolina. But I might have my father-in-law, who's a former NFL football player who trains constantly. He's also, his business, he's kind of a nutrition guru. So I might want to talk to him about nutrition and supplements, because he's all about supplementing. And, he's an older dude. He's a very successful NFL football player, or a businessman that was an NFL football player. And he's still, walking around with like a lot of injuries and doing well. He's got, banged his head up a bunch, and knees and elbows and wrists and fingers and thumbs and broken noses and 2 hip replacements. I've had him on the show before, but I think it'd be really nice to in-depthly talk to him. Because he and I, I'm scared of him, let's face it. And this might be just a good way to bond with him, that he won't want to kill me because his daughter made a mistake. So moving on. Jason Khalipa, I've talked to him. I think we have him coming on in the very near future. Freddie Camacho, China Cho. Who else is coming on? I just am really trying to bank up some episodes for you guys of awesome guests. So please, like I said, if you can't give to our Patreon, go to Apple, to iTunes, and rate, review, and comment about the show. All you got to do is rate. If you just rate, it takes you 2 seconds, and then we get, we get high ratings, and then people realize people watch the show. Watch, listen, whatever. Go to YouTube, find the show, go to, what else can you do? You can write a nice comment too. I love the comments. And, people have sent me some really nice shit. I got one the other day, on the Wadcast Instagram that was just super nice. Like a guy made a video and sent it to me, just telling me that he enjoys the show and that it's really important to him. And every week that he watched, or that he listens every week. He said he started on like episode 200, and he's like, I started on episode 200 and I went back and started listening to all the episodes after that. And I thought that was pretty cool. There's a lot of you out there that have listened. We're in 400 and some episodes right now. We are definitely going to make it to 500. And he just really, that made my day. I couldn't believe what a nice message this guy sent. So send us messages. Mostly put them on Apple. That's the nicest place you can do it, because then other people read it and they want to listen to the show. Live dates. As you know, I'm constantly touring as a stand-up comedian, and I met some Wadcast listeners recently here in Lake Norman. Really cool. They were so nice. They sent me a nice comment afterwards. I spent time with them afterwards to talk to them after the show. I like to do that. I like to meet you guys. I like to talk to you. I will be in Sunnyvale, California at Rooster T. Feathers, January 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Okay? I might be out in the Mill Valley in San Francisco on the 7th. Maybe. I might just go up to Tahoe early, ski as much as I can. I will be in Lake Tahoe, the 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, and 12th at Harvey's Casino. It's the Improv at Harvey's. And then I leave for Las Vegas that morning, and I head to Brad Garrett's Comedy Club in the MGM, and that's the 13th to the 19th that's the MGM. It's a really fun show. Every night I'll be headlining. Brad might be on the show with me, might not, because he's got a sitcom now. And, but that's a really, really fun time. That's, the MGM Grand. You see my billboard on Las Vegas Boulevard. It's pretty cool. I feel like, really, like I made it. I wish they knew how much I was getting paid, though. As people see you on a billboard and they're like, oh my God, this guy must be a millionaire. It's like, no, he's just shucking his Patreon on his podcast. You know what? I forgot to also thank all our sponsors that make this show happen. We've had a lot of sponsors this year who have advertised on the show. And like I said, I usually do my due diligence to do my research on these companies, find out it's things I believe in, things I use, and things I support. And those have been all the sponsors. And I've had a really good experience and met a lot of great people through it, using a lot of great products myself. And this one in particular that I want to talk about right now, Pitov Pulse, is a great group of guys up there in Nova Scotia, eh? They are an all-in-one health and fitness app for the iOS and Android. We've never done anything like this before, and I think it's awesome. I don't know if you know, in the past I've talked about how much I do heart rate monitoring for my own workouts because of the age I am, and also I think we've got to that age in CrossFit where people are looking for recovery. They don't want to hurt all the time. They don't want to feel like shit, and they want to know they're in the right, they're getting the right recovery and they're getting the right amount of sleep. And a really good way to do that is with this app. It's an app. That's what you got to do. You go to the App Store and you can connect your Apple Watch, your Bluetooth heart rate monitor, or any smartwatch to record your workouts and visualize your real-time heart rate data. I never know which way to say that. You say data, I say data. You say tomato, I say tomato. Tomato. Is it data? Is it data? I just messed this whole ad up. Anyways, Pitov Pulse gives you a lot of customization options for a tailor-made workout tracking experience with features like voice notifications, workout groups, which we are going to do. We're going to have our own Wadcast workout group where you guys are going to be able to compete against me for points. That's right. Points, calories, all kinds of things. We're going to be like, who's in it? Who's doing well? I am crushing you all. I will crush everyone. Come at me, people. I am not afraid. But if you already have like certain fitness apps that you use and love, Pitov Pulse is committed to seamless integration with apps like Apple Health, MyFitnessPal, Strava, and Training Peaks. So you never have to compromise on your data. You say data. I'm not going to do it again. Anyway, CrossFitters around the world love Pitov Pulse. And it's just really cool. It's really nice. I go for runs now and I can look down, check out where I am, look at my watch. And, if you want to try this app, and if you feel like it's probably built just for you, cause it is, they're looking in the CrossFit world and they're working really hard. Go to pitov.com/promo and enter the promo code WODcast for 33% off a year subscription. That's pitov.com/promo, pitov-. I'm going to try one more time and I'm going to not be an idiot. Pitov.com/promo. You're going to enter the promo code WODCAST, WODCAST. You're going to get 33% off 1 year subscription. That's Pitov, FITIV. Pitov. Pitov.com/promo. Enter WODcast for 33% off a year subscription. Unlock your fitness with Pitov Pulse. I go to Worcester. People said those dates weren't posted. They are. Worcester, Mass. I will be there 23rd, 24th, 25th. And then I go to New York City. I'll probably be at the Comedy Cellar 26th, 27th, 28th, New York City. 29th, 30th. I'm sorry. I'll be there the 29th too. 30th, 31st, and 1st. I'll be in Laugh Boston, right there in downtown Boston in the Seaport. That's a great club. Come see me. Then I believe it's 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. I will be in Vancouver at the Mark Bronson's House of Comedy. It's House of Comedy in Vancouver. I talked to Louise Eberts, I believe it is, who I think, just from our Instagram, is one of the best gymnastics coaches out there in the CrossFit world. It looks like everyone that's ever gone to one of her seminars can do like awesome muscle ups, bar muscle ups, ring muscle ups. So I am stopping in. I am podcasting with her, and she's going to teach me to perfect my ring muscle up and my bar muscle up, because I find those party tricks awesome. And then I head off to Melbourne, Australia. I will be in Melbourne, I believe, the 13th and the 15th. I don't think I'm working on the 14th. I think I'm doing Thursday and Saturday at the, where am I? Comics Lounge in Melbourne, Australia. And then where do I go? I believe it's like right after that. I start I take that back. I'm off that week. I take that back. I'm off. I am I'm home. I'm spending time with my wife. I head to Melbourne the 20th and 22nd. I'll be in Melbourne, Australia. And then from like the 23rd to March 8th, I will be in Adelaide, Australia at the Adelaide Fringe Festival. You can come see me there. It's a good time. Love it. And then after that, taking a little bit of time off. Big show at the Comedy Store on March 15th, my birthday. Check out all the dates at eddief.com. And thanks for everything. I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, thank you for an awesome year on the Wadcast podcast. This is the last episode of the year. I hope you enjoy it. I had a really nice time talking to Kenzie, who is an amazing CrossFitter, an amazing person. And it was just fun. We just had a really nice time. And I hope to bring you another full year of fitness talk. And and let's have as much fun next year as we did this year. And I wish you all the best, and Happy New Year, and Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you had. Celebrate the holidays. Love your friends, love your family, and enjoy this show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wadcast podcast. I am your host, Eddie Ift, and I am here live from my in-laws. I'm on the road. I was here doing a show in Charlotte, actually in Lake Norman, and I'm here for the holidays. Well, I'm here in Pittsburgh, and I was so lucky, thanks to Troy from Maya Pucks, who is the all-knowing of CrossFit. Anytime I'm in a different place, I go, Troy, do you know anyone in the CrossFit world from Charlotte? And he's like, oh yeah. He's like, you don't know Kenzi Riley? I was like, she lives in Charlotte? And he was like, yes, she does. And so I contact you. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, that's awesome. That was a nice surprise. I never know if people know where each other lives.
No, I don't think anyone does.
You know, when there was regionals, you knew like such and such region, but like you never really knew where. And I've only been here like 4 years. I'm not originally from here. So
where are you originally from?
The Midwest, Illinois.
Okay.
Yeah, cornfields.
And you're also one of those people that even on your Instagram, you're in different gyms all the time.
Yes. That's also, yeah. It's I don't really identify, or at least I don't like own a gym. So you can't really put a finger on that.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so I'm glad that you're here, and Lake Norman's awesome.
You're a gym hopper. You go to different gyms?
I've got a couple. I really just have one home gym.
Where do you work out?
CrossFit North Lake.
Okay.
Which is kind of on the north end of the city, which is where I live. So
okay.
It's close to proximity to my house. But they're actually opening a second location. So they're thriving and doing awesome. And I'm looking forward to, now that I'm not competing, being a little bit more involved in some of the gym operations.
Did you start CrossFitting in Illinois, though?
Yes.
How long have you been doing
2012.
2012. So
I was 24, just turning 25 when I started CrossFitting.
And your best finish is what, 11th?
At the CrossFit Games, that was in the Open. I got 11th 2 years in a row in the Open. At the Games, I was 18th and
18th. I love how you go 18th like it's so bad. I find that about every CrossFit Games athlete. If they don't win it, they dismiss it like, yeah, I was just the 18th fittest person in the entire world.
It's just like the number it's just a kind of like a mediocre number. It's not like a...
No, it's amazing.
I mean, well, it is. And like when you think about it, like, of course it is, but like 18 is such an obscure...
No, it's
number.
Amazing. Because I look at whenever I do any kind of race or anything and I'm like, hey, I finished 1,236th. And I'm actually proud of myself to be 18th in the world at it. I'm not even number one. I'm not even the best CrossFitting comedian. I'm not even the best CrossFitting male comedian. I'm not even the best CrossFitting male comedian with 2 kids.
When you put it, you know, there's various fields you can narrow yourself down into. You know, you love all those custom leaderboards that they used to have in the Open. And I was like, man, they should really expand on this and let you like really put yourself into just a lot of different categories to see, because yeah, I mean, there's so many specifics to everybody's individual situation.
Sure.
But, you know, when you say like the world and like all of people that CrossFit, like ultimately when you're at the Games, like that's the field you're in, is like the entirety. So yeah, I mean, 18 is pretty good.
What's your secret? Why are you so good?
You know, I don't know. First of all, I mean, not that I'm so good, but like there is something.
Stop being humble.
I hate like boisterous, non-humble people. So I try really hard to not.
I get it. I understand.
But no, it's more of like there is definitely something, and I don't care what people say. Like there is some sort of like genetic, physical component to it. You can't just like. I don't think anybody can just say like I want to work really hard, because a lot of it is. I mean, it's all hard work.
Sure.
Because you've seen people come from like where they started to where they are, and I mean, I could do one pull up. I told people I could do one pull up when I started CrossFit.
Are you serious?
Yeah, like one strict pull up was like all I could do. It was horrible. I literally said like I'm never going to be able to do pull ups. Like, you know, I can never cycle them out like butterfly. Like I just thought it was like never in the cards for me. So like. You see obviously those transformations, but like I don't think it's just anybody that can wake up and do it. I think you have to have definitely some like genetic, athletic potential.
I mean, what I'm saying is like you look at a lot of them, you know, especially the girls come from a gymnastics background.
Oh yeah.
Or you've got Tia, who has an Olympic weightlifting background, which really, really, really helps.
Track and field, all that stuff.
Track and field.
Like
what was yours?
Swimming, which comes up. I mean,
it helps.
Obviously, like it gives you like aerobic base has always been like the major thing that when it comes to CrossFit, like, aerobic conditioning is like the major one of the foundational parts of it all, Metcon. And so I've always kind of been in a better situation when it comes to that sort of work. So right off the bat, like I'm used to holding my breath and like, you know, breathing hard and all of that. So that came. I don't want to say easier, but like that's just nothing. It's obviously difficult no matter how conditioned you are, but it wasn't such a shock, I think, to me.
How good were you at swimming?
Well, you know, I'm pretty much peaked as a teenager, but I kept swimming all through. I went up through 2 years of college.
Okay.
At a junior college. At that point, it was more of I was swimming because it's what I've always done, and it was just like a part of me. But I wasn't really like excited about it, and I was like probably very burnt out on it. But it was just kind of like what.
Where'd you go to junior college?
Back in Illinois.
Okay.
Junior college, nothing to write home about necessarily, but it was more about, you know, the experience and the camaraderie and the friendship and the. Were
you awesome though there? Like when you went to when you were swimming,
that caliber of like, I think that caliber of athlete at junior college, like I don't think it's kind of like big fish in a little pond at that point, you know? So, no, I mean, again, nothing outstanding for sure.
because, they're like, I think you see it in people where I just did a run with Tommy Hackenbrook, and the whole time, like, we were doing this run, and it was a long run, and I just saw it in him, like, that he's a workhorse, and just there's no bitching, there's no complaining.
He likes it.
And he just, my father-in-law's like that. I said to him the other day something about him working, and he goes, he's like, I just like to work all the time. Like, you got to give him stuff.
That's a sled dog. Sled dog mentality, right? Yeah. That you hear so much about with the, CrossFit New England.
I have a dog like that. I have a working dog, a cattle dog. And if you don't work her, she gets upset and messes things up. Like, she needs to work. Like, being told what to do, go out and do it. And when she does, she's so happy. Right. And it's just, I think there are people like that, and I think it makes a good CrossFitter.
Definitely, like, there are people that thrive off of like focus and determination, and like waking up with like a goal, and being able to really like be a self-starter and self-motivated and set your sights on it and just dig in and go for it. My husband and I were just kind of talking about this. He was like, "God, CrossFit's so, like, we're talking about how CrossFit gyms are so expensive." And I mean, it's not a secret. Like, I think we can all agree, no matter how awesome, like, of a community and a workout it is, like, it is expensive. And so, we were talking about it, and he's just like, you could just go to like a Globo gym and still do CrossFit workouts. I'm like, the problem is that people, it's like the motivation to get yourself to the gym and walk in and decide what you're going to do. Like, you can do that. Like, I can do that. Like, we do that in our garage gym. Like, we can do that. But like, it's like, once you're in the door, it's taken care of for you. Like,
sure.
Like, the workout's written, the people are there to motivate you. Like they're just motivated people. And then there are people that really need to be like pushed along.
I'm off the out of CrossFit right now because I broke down my body doing this run, and I'm just, I catabolized everything, and I was like, okay, I need to put some muscle on. The last thing I want to do is any kind of metabolic conditioning right now. I just wanted to, like, muscle build, like, get bigger. And so I started going to like Gold's gyms and things like that. And there is this, I walk in the gym and I can sit and look at my phone for a while.
Oh,
It's not like go. And then there is, I got to find the workout I'm going to do today, and what am I going to do? And then taking the time. And the next thing I know, I've spent too much time there. And the procrastination, which that is one of the advantages of going to CrossFit. It's like, you're here, you better warm up. You got to go now. Yep. You're done. But I've said from day one of this show, and people get mad when I say this, that CrossFit was going to bastardize. Like, they created this thing, and then everybody was going to learn it. And which had happened. And then, you saw the Globo gyms go from having all their universal things and then their free weights and their dumbbells to now you see all these kettlebells, and you see rings, and you see sleds, and you're seeing them all in these other gyms. And I said that eventually will happen. And then everybody that knows how to CrossFit will do it paying $50 a month.
Unaffiliated types of program. Yeah.
And it was obviously going to happen. Yes, you're still not getting the best coaching, but the problem is everybody's putting their coaching online. Yeah. And so the coaching's free online. Sure, it's not there to, right to tell you exactly what to do, but there's a lot of guys that have made the CrossFit Games. Like, when Froning first started, he came out of, wasn't coming out of a CrossFit gym.
Sure. Right.
So it's, I've always said there's going to be this kind of evolution of the business, and down the line, I thought this will be hard for CrossFit to maintain its kind of monopoly of the business.
That's the crazy part, is like that was, I feel like, most recently with all of the national champions and wanting to broaden the reach of CrossFit, like the growing of the cert and the growing of the reach of, affiliation and certification is like, I feel what I've heard, is like the focus, and they're trying to make it more of like a global reach and expand into areas that it's a little bit more sparse. So,
they better.
Yeah. Well, and good and coaching is, and that's the other thing, people, you get hurt when you do CrossFit. Yeah. Well, when you don't know what you're doing and you're doing it on your own in the Globo gym, or you're doing it under a non, certified coach or somebody with a lack of, less knowledge.
Right.
Like, then you might get, that's probably where the hurt is going on. But,
So how many years into CrossFit did you qualify for the games?
Okay, so I started in 2012 in the summer. And, well, back in the day, 2013, the regional situation was if you had somebody qualify individually, like their points still contributed to like the affiliate team that came out of there.
Sure.
So we had a regional individual at the time at the first affiliate I belonged at. And so his points helped qualify a team. And so we threw together a team. And so I technically went to regionals within like 9 months, or I guess a year of starting CrossFit or whatever. So,
I love it. You couldn't do a pull up, and the next thing you know,
I know. And we had to do muscle ups at regionals. So I got my first muscle up, like just going into like my first, like at the year mark of CrossFit, because I had to do it because it was coming up at regionals.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so at that point,
that's 2013.
That was 2013. And then the next year they eliminated the whole like team or individual contributing to the team. But I went on a team to regionals 13, 14, 15, 16. And then 16, the team that I was on qualified. And then 17, 18, 19, I was an individual. So,
wow. And now, you're pregnant.
Yes.
So you're obviously not going this year.
I mean, debatable, but I think we're going to sit this one out.
Who are you, Val?
Yeah, I know, right? I know, right?
I think Val could compete with
Cara. I'm just like, you are amazing. Like when I saw in the open, I like messaged her and I was like, I'm so impressed and proud. Like that's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It is. It's very, very impressive. It's more impressive than what any of the guys are doing. And it's so funny because guys don't give. I guess
you guys don't even know.
If a guy has a wife that has had a baby, he will. But like single guys that have never been through it,
oh sure,
they don't understand.
But like the physical, like I don't know what it's gonna be like. But I feel like just physically going from like such a peak to like the fight back, like mentally, I'm fully prepared to experience a little bit of a bummer where you're just like, I don't feel very fit.
I think it's similar. I don't know because I've never had a child, but I think the only thing I could equate it to maybe is having a bad injury. Because, I mean, at least with a baby, you've got something amazing.
True.
But an injury is depressing.
That's true.
Especially when it's like you're getting surgery, your recovery is going to take this long, and you'll be back 85%.
Sure.
So with pregnancy, I'm sure you can come back 100%, but there's this long road back that is going to be a struggle. And not just that you've got, you're physically what's happening. Right. You've got a responsibility.
That's more so the part that I'm super cognizant of. So people ask me like, oh, you think you'll compete again? Are you going to? And I'm just like, dude, I do not know. I just know that my life is going to have a lot more demand coming from external needs that before I didn't have. Like, you can live a super selfish lifestyle when you're a, young 20 something. I mean, you might have a job at this point, a lot of people like don't necessarily have like full-time jobs. So you do your best to put yourself in a lifestyle where you can be entirely focused on that goal and be selfish with your time and your energy. And as a mother, I just don't really see that being the same case. So I don't think it's fair to say anything about like what I might do in the future till I really know what that's like.
Were you a 3 day a week or 3 workout a day person?
When like
when you were training for the games and stuff?
I'm a mega session person.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says, the whole like morning session, PM session. Yes, it's a great simulation for like the games demanding like, intermittent efforts from you. But I really there's something about leaving the gym knowing you have to go back that is just like heartbreaking. So I would go in and, get to the gym at 10, leave around probably like 3.
Wow.
And bring, lots of snacks and like the taking a break to eat a meal thing. Like, you go down, like you got to go down and take a nap after that. Like it's hard to get going after that. So I was like, don't, like once I'm going, I'm going. Like, don't stop me once I'm rolling. So I like, have a snack, take a breath, like look at my Instagram for a minute. Okay, next one. Let's set it up. Let's get going. Like,
it's so funny you say that because Hinshaw was telling me how CrossFit is an endurance sport. And he's like, people think it's this thing where like, oh, you're so strong and you do this and then you can do this and then you can do this, or your workouts, they only last 12 minutes or 10 minutes. He's like, it's a 5-day or 4-day event. And
I mean, it used to be.
It's where are you going to end up at the end of these days?
100%.
Because it's basically a race till that.
And I tell people that's the difference between like this last year, 2019 games, and every year before is like going into it, you've got at least 4 days, you've got at least like 11, 12, some events, and you're having to be at the venue. See you tomorrow at 7:00 for your briefing. And it's like 9:00 at night when they're saying this, like you're walking off the floor at 8:30 and you have to be back at like 7 a.m., but you still got to like cool down, recover, bathe, eat, and sleep, and be back to do it all over. Like it was more of a demand on like who can thrive in these just asinine conditions of like recovery for 4 straight days of the hardest tests you're going to see.
Yeah, that's why I thought
now that's kind of different.
That's why I thought Tommy Hackenbrook was so good at when we did this long run. It was like he was doing CrossFit, because he would just, you're going 10 miles and he would just eat something and just keep going, and he just never complained once. And I'm like, I'm dying. And I was like, oh, he's done this so much, not running, but he's done where he's put his body through this for long periods of time. Like it's almost like you're running an ultra marathon. And it's mental,
knowing like there's like, it's going to suck come Sunday. No one wants to warm up. Everybody's body's hurt. You're just like, it's hard to get like the first couple of days you have like this adrenaline and this excitement and these nerves. And then like by the last day, you're just like, fuck it, let's just do this thing.
Yeah. I can't imagine how you feel like Sunday morning.
But then by the last event, you're kind of like, I can't believe it's over. But like the whole time you're like, oh my God, when's this going to be over? But yeah, so like that's what I feel like it used to be, is just like really long days, a ton of volume, and who can best survive that mentally and physically. But now, especially even with like the new system and the new games, like structure, when you look at the schedule, it's like, you have this window of time, and I was like, we're done by 5:00 every day. I'm like, what is this? Like,
yeah, I thought it was a trick.
I know. I was like, what is this crap? I was like, this isn't the games. Like, even as a spectator, I used to like love like, oh, it's like, nighttime, and like we're just starting an event, and like I've been here all day, and like I'm a super fan. Because I watched the game. I've been to the games as a spectator every year. I mean, ever since, except for 13. That was the first year I learned what the CrossFit Games was. I didn't even know what the games was till 2013.
That's when you were in it, though.
Well, yeah. But I didn't even watch, like 2012, I didn't watch the games. I didn't know it was a thing. I know. It was like a whole new world.
How did you find CrossFit?
Well, so one of my teammates in college, he mentioned it to me. At this time, I had like a 5-year span between quitting competitive swimming and then starting CrossFit. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know it was going to lead to like this whole new other competitive athletic career.
So I don't want to take you off this, but what was your event?
Butterfly, just like whatever butterfly.
Just like the hardest swimming event there is.
200 butterfly, honestly, like the longest duration butterfly event. And like when I was a kid, it was like 100. And then as soon as 100 became the standard as an older kid, 200 is like endurance butterfly, period. Bottom line is like
the hardest thing in the world.
That's like what, but I was like, Kenzie, you're going to be, this is what you're going to be good at.
If you said to me, pick a swimmer that would be the best CrossFitter, I would have said butterfly. Just because it seems like the most physically
people
grueling.
Hate it. Like people really hate
brutal.
It. Yeah.
If you said to me, and I'm a pretty good swimmer, if you said to me, go swim a 50 butterfly, I'd be like, I'd rather eat glass.
Dude, it's weird. And it's like I think that's like a body awareness thing that, people say swimmers, like there's no like coordination, no eye-hand coordination, no like, like skill as far as that goes. But like, I think knowing how to move your body in water, and especially like the coordination of, I think that there takes a lot of coordination to be a swimmer.
Butterflies like doing 30 muscle ups.
I was going to say like, especially butterflies. So like, it makes perfect sense to me that like Olympic lifting, like the concept of like, hips and like second pull before you like pull and like all that stuff where people are like trying to do shit at the wrong time. Like I understood kind of like timing and coordination a little bit.
So then how did it get you into CrossFit?
Yeah. So one of my teammates in college, while I was like grinding it out at the Globo gym, doing like 90 group fitness classes a week, like spin class, then I'll go take abs class, then I'll go take like kickboxing, then I'll go like, I was just like,
so you're an addict.
yeah, like I was just like, I'm so hardcore. Like I need to work out hard all the time because 2 hours of swim practice for most of my life. I was just used to like solid workout hours. Yep. And so I was doing that sort of life. And my friend was like, Kenzie, you should try CrossFit. And I always tell the story. Like he explained it to me. He's just like, yeah, we did this workout the other day. It was crazy. We were doing doing hands. We were like on our hands, like on the wall upside down. And then we did this and blah, blah, blah. And it was like 7 minutes. And I just remember him telling me it was like a 7-minute workout. And I was like, 7 minutes. I was like, that's like nothing. And I was just like, couldn't get over the fact. I was like, these short durations. I was like, I don't know if I'd be into that. Like, that sounds like some shit.
That's what got me into it. I was like, wait, how long does it tell you do Fran in 3.5 minutes? I was like, and then you're done?
And then you're done?
And my friend's like, yeah, and it's so effective. And I was like, so I can go to the gym and I can leave 3.5 minutes later and I did what somebody else does in an hour. I'm like, I'm into that.
I mean, it's, you know, I have the problem where it's like, oh yeah, more is better. Like I came from that where I was like, yeah. So anyway, so I would do a great example. I have this story of like one of the first weeks that I was at the gym, I went to like 6 a.m. class or something and it was Fight Gone Bad. And then I came back later and did 4:30 class. And
you were that person.
But I did the same class twice in a day because I was like, person. More is better, right? But yeah, so at that point I was like, I'm in this shit. Like I like it because like I was completely like bought in. It was humbling, but it was also like even in swimming, like I felt obviously like horrible, like physical exertion pain, but like this is a different type of pain. Like it was like, I thought I was fit. I thought I was athletic, but like, this is a serious, like other type of sort of fitness that shit, I suck. Like, you know, so it was almost like feeling bad about myself of like, I thought I was fit that made me like want to do it more. Cause I was like, I got to be better at this because I
think the peer group has a lot to do with that. What happens, people, they see, you know, you before CrossFit, and this is what Instagram's doing to people. Before that, all you had was your like, you know, your small group around you, whatever you saw, and you might go, I'm the fittest of all my friends. And then all of a sudden you walked into a CrossFit gym and you're like, oh my God.
Yep.
And then you had to be the fittest of all of them. And then the internet, you go on there and you're like, because that happened to me with
I saw so-and-so did something on Instagram, so I'm going to go try and do it and do it faster and better.
The forums. And I remember CrossFit, HQ's site, a main site, I would go on and I would think, I just crushed this workout. And then I would look at other people's times and I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
No. And I was like, this guy's full of shit.
Yep.
And then I just started going, wow, there's a whole world out there of really super fit people. And then it's just started connecting them. And in a way, it started to get depressing. And I find that with everything I do, from skiing to running to, you know, surfing, that I just go, wow, I suck.
It's super humbling.
Super humbling.
Yeah.
But like for you, it's, you know, you go, hey, there's only like 17 of them better than me. With me, it's like, oh, there's thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. Here we go. We're going to talk about something that is very, very cutting edge, very, very research oriented, very, very you better get your nerd caps on, people, because I'm talking about NAD plus / basis. We are at a time where people are looking for optimum health. People want to live longer. They want to age better. I see a lot of unhealthiness. I was just home with my family and I see a lot of people dealing with a lot of health problems. Well, if you're looking to live longer, live better, I think you need to listen to the experts. There's a guy named Dr. Leonard Guarente. He's the director of the Glenn Center for Biology of Aging Research at MIT. Okay. And he founded a company called Elysium. You know me, I can't pronounce anything. You say Elysium, I say Elysium. Let's take the whole day off. What they do is, you know, this guy does research and then he kind of figures out what the breakthroughs are. And then he started a supplement company because he knows what works. After 25 years of research on the process of aging, he came up with a flagship supplement called Basis. And it's a proprietary formulation of crystalline nicotinamide riboside. I think I said that. And then the last word I can't say, which is I can't say it. Don't worry about it. You just look up that crystalline nicotinamide riboside, or you can just call it NAD+. Okay. Look up NAD+. I now have it on a Google search where every time I go on, Google shows me more and more information about it. And there's so many studies going on and so many advancements that this is something, jump on board. You want to be into this. Because what happens is our NAD+ levels decline in our bodies. Okay. By as much as 50% by middle age. NAD+ is estimated to be involved in over 500 different cellular reactions in humans and plays a key role in cellular metabolism and cellular energy production and supports mitochondrial health. Okay? So sirtuins are involved in critical cellular process, including supporting a healthy metabolism and cellular energy production. Sirtuins play a key role in regulating cellular homeostasis and metabolism. Sirtuins also stimulate the activity of the mitochondria, but they only function in the presence of NAD+. You need proof? Elysium also conducted a clinical trial on Basis. The study shows that taking the recommended dosage of 2 capsules of Basis every day increases your NAD+ levels by an average of 40%. 40%, people. Basis is tested for quality and purity by third-party labs. It's here's what you're going to expect. You want to take Basis. You know it's working at the cellular level because the clinical study and many of the benefits of increased NAD+ are things you won't feel exactly, but things like you're not going to feel mitochondrial function. However, the customers that are taking are reporting they've experienced higher energy, better sleep, more satisfying workouts. So taking the supplement Basis by Elysium Health is a small change that can have an outsized impact on your health because it increases levels of a molecule that's fundamental to life. All right? Your cells use it for hundreds of biological processes. What are you waiting for? This week, you can get $45 off a 6-month to 1-year subscription of Basis by visiting trybasis.com/wadcast and using the promo code WADCAST. Now, what I want you to do is just research NAD+. Seriously, go on to Google, NAD+, read any article on it. Then you're going to want to do this. You're going to go to trybasis.com/wadcast, use the promo code WADCAST. All right? You're going to get $45 off a 6-month to 1-year subscription. All right? That's a full month of free Basis and get a deal on the groundbreaking supplement. Okay.
Let me tell you, if you want to talk about the changes in CrossFit, like this year, I actually had this revelation where I was at the games and, I don't even remember what day it was. Probably like, I was only there for like 2 days. So it was probably like the second day. But I remember I was like looking around and I'm like, there are so many people here. Like there are so many girls here. And we all have different like reasons or motivations or whatever that makes us want to do this. But like, we're all the same and we're all fighting to be like one more place up higher on this leaderboard and like make it to the next freaking event whenever it's just like, but at the end of the day, like, look at how many people are doing this. It just made me feel like it made it feel really insignificant. And this is maybe just the 2019 experience. Uh-huh. Whereas just like, so we're all here and we're all like fighting. Like it's like the competitiveness was just a hyper, like a different level than it was in the past where I was like, you might have a bad event. You might like fall down a few places and then, you fight your way back up, whatever. It was like, these girls are we're taking each other's spots in the next event. Weren't you
used to that? I mean, swimming, I think, is a lot like I did track and field, and you had your prelim or your qualifiers, or your prelims, your semifinals, and your finals. Yeah. And you always wanted to make that cut to the next event.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what it was. I think it was just like
because of the change.
Maybe it was because I was approaching the ripe age of 32 and I was just like had so much more wisdom. But it was like the change had like made me be like what's the point? You know, and not to like put a damper on like the competitive aspect of the sport, because it's something that I love and like a huge, obviously, like passion in my life and in my heart. But like, it just made me realize like whether I make it to the next cut, or even like maybe I make it to top 10, which would be like an all-time like highest lifetime achievement for me at the CrossFit Games. Like at the end of the day, like there's always somebody that's like better, unless you're winning. There's always somebody better than you, to where like, why, like, what's it matter? And who's going to remember this?
I think that happens to anybody that doesn't win. You know, there were times in my life and things that I was in where I didn't win, where I'd get second or third or whatever. And I would go, and people would be like, you should be so happy. And I was like, I'm not. I wanted to win. It was winning or nothing. And there's only one place, it's winning. And everything else is the same to me.
Right.
So I can see how you can be frustrated. But from an outside point of view, I look at you like, holy,
just to be at the games, you know, or whatever.
I know people, I know so many people in this business, and I'm friends with girls and guys that are training for the games that are the fittest fucking people I've ever met. And they don't even qualify. And so whenever I talk to somebody that is, you're like an alien to me. There's something weird about you that allowed you to get there.
Right.
And it's so, I mean, you should be, you know, just patting yourself on your back for the rest of your life. It's like I look at my father-in-law who played in the NFL. That is so hard to make it in the NFL. It's just so hard to just get in.
Yeah.
And so since the first day I met him, I've looked at him like, you're an alien.
Right.
There's something about you that got you there that most human beings cannot do.
So like that's how, I mean, I've never really been the person that's like, I believe it or not, like hyper competitive with like in certain situations I can get really competitive. But as far as like the duration of a CrossFit Games weekend, I know in that, like at least getting there in that moment, I know I'm one of 40. And like, to me, that is a huge achievement. And so like used to be getting to the games and now it's like 150. So it's kind of like, all right, now I feel like I have to earn, like now that I have to be a certain placement to feel like I really achieve something, which maybe that sounds like a dickhead thing to say, but like truly like the achievement of making it there and having the whole weekend to like get to display my fitness and do different tests. And like I said, like come back and fight, you know, you fall down, fight back up, all of that. You have a whole weekend to like get to really test yourself. And like that on all levels, like that's character and, you know, physical ability. And like you said, just like the endurance of lasting physically, you know, so that achievement was always like, I don't care. Like, yeah, do I have an idea of what sort of placement I'd like to get? But like at the end of that, it's like I can look at it and be like, did I do my best? Did I, you know, have personal victories? And to me, that's always been like enough. Like that's like I can walk away from the year and be like, I'm proud of myself and I'm proud of this, this, and this. And maybe I'm hungry to get better at this. Like, oh God, I really want to do better at this event. Like I really want to improve at this, or, you know, it lets the fire keep burning in me. But after this year, I kind of had this feeling of like, so I'm like, you have to fight far enough to feel like, for me, like I said, that I've, you know, accomplished or achieved something, because just being here, I feel like is not quite what it used to be.
I see your point, and I haven't heard a lot of people who've liked the new format, even because the people that won always win. So they're not going to complain or like it either way.
Right.
It worked for them again. Yeah. But I see what you say, because you get there and there was a lot of this like, oh, there's a lot of people that don't belong here because they're just the best in their country and they wouldn't have qualified otherwise.
Which I love. Like I love certain aspects of it. Like that's great. But for those of us that are like, this has been a career and it's like that accomplished, like what you do at the games is bearing on like, you know, you've got contracts and you've got different relationships with people that like you really want to like show up for them. Sure. And now you have this thicker field of like weird shit to wade through.
Sure.
And like I said, it was more of me trying to discover if like I have that, like, was this as fulfilling? Was it as, you know, great of an experience? Like, because it might only be 2 days and that's your year, you know, like is everything else you do all year, like, do you love it enough to only come to the games for 2 days? And like, but you just find yourself asking yourself these questions that I've never had happen before, because I've just been so proud of myself to be there and be amongst these women, 40 of us, and feel like an intimate sort of achievement.
I think that's hard for you because that's everything you were used to. But CrossFit, like Castro and Glassman, they probably look at it as though we're totally evolving and we're trying to figure out how to make this economical or profitable and also viewable. And so they're working out the kinks all the time, and they can never really consider you.
Oh, sure. Oh, 100%.
Or the athletes in general.
And it's like, you know,
but you know it. It's like you go to college. That's 4 years of your life, and that makes an indelible mark in your brain. You have that for the rest of your life. For you were in the games that long of a period. That's a huge, huge part of your life. And then to go,
we're changing
it. It's like, I've had friends go to college and then they change the name of the college that they went to. And they're like, you can't change the name of my
then you're
college.
Just getting into like, you know, it's just like familiarity and like sentimental this and like, you know what, you're right. Like, evolution of the sport doesn't give a flying fuck about that. So like, I totally get that. And there are 40 other women that like have been there the same amount of time as me, if not more, that, you know, maybe we share the sentiment, maybe we don't. And it's just, for me, I don't know. I guess when I found myself fighting amongst 150 other women, and like, it just made me be like,
you felt less significant
a little bit, which but that shouldn't be like, that shouldn't be what you do this for, is like feeling super significant. Because guess what? In the grand scheme of the entire freaking world, CrossFit nothing we do at the CrossFit Games matters in the universe. Yeah. But like I said, at the end of the day, if you really feel like I said, in the past years, I had felt like fulfilled and hungry. And this year I just kind of felt like, almost like over it in a sense.
I think what you're going through, people in general all over the world are going through in every aspect, because I know as a stand-up comedian, you know, I look back, if you look at like when Bob Newhart and Richard Pryor and those guys were comics, there were only like 20 comedians in America. And those guys, 2 years into comedy, were touring the country and having TV specials and on every TV show. And they all knew each other, all 20 guys. They were all like close friends. And then when I got into comedy, there were, you know, I did it 25 years ago. There were maybe a couple thousand of us in the country. And I started going around the world, and it started growing. I would go to a country and there would be 5 comics in that country. I'd go to South Africa and there were like 10 guys. And I'd go to Germany and there were a few guys doing it. And now there's 100,000 in every single country, and everywhere you go, and you're like, the saturation makes my significance just get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And it's frustrating. It's like, I used to feel special. Now I don't. So I can relate to that. And I think the internet has done that to all of us in every aspect of the world. And so the globalization of everything has taken us out of our tribes, and we're now in this giant global tribe where we're like, wow, I really don't fucking matter anymore. Like,
but you know, it's good to have that once in a while.
It is.
Keeps you humble.
But it's nice to feel special. And it's, you know, it used to be everybody felt special in their own community, and now we're all part of this one big community, and only one person feels special, and that, you know, Matt Fraser feels special.
And that's, I mean, obviously, like, well-deserved, like, amazing feats of fitness. And it's just, I don't know. I have a really hard time like putting words to it, but it was just like a feeling of like, you know what? I know that I'm good at this, but at the same time, just because you're good at it doesn't mean that I had this realization that just because you're good at it doesn't mean you have to do it. If you don't have like that, if it's not sitting right with you. And it just like wasn't sitting right with me when I found myself battling against such a bigger field of girls that like, I didn't even get to form relationships with. Sure. Like I'm more about the experience. And like, I know that it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like the CrossFit Games is a competition, but like I said, you get 4 or 5 days to like spend with the same group of people, and you get treated really, really well, or at least, you know, in the past years. You get treated like what you did all year matters. And this is the one weekend that
you're celebrated.
That somebody is going to act like what you do really matters when you're grinding it out.
Fikowski made that point to Hunter when they were having their big fight, an argument about Hunter qualifying. And he said the games is kind of a celebration for all the work you've done up into this. And that's why, and Hunter's my good friend, but I got Fikowski's point when he said, we're being celebrated for all the work we've done and you didn't put that in.
Yeah.
And then, so you don't deserve the celebration. Because Hunter's was like, hey, I did what they said.
Did. Yeah.
And I got in and don't give me shit. But I got that too. I was like, here's all this.
I definitely saw the sides of that.
There was both sides. What event was it when would you get cut after?
It was after Mary, which was,
Mary's fourth or fifth.
It was like it was the second event because they only had 2 events a day, it was just such an interesting experience compared to the past. I think it was only the 4th event, but it was the first event was like that was not a great way to start my weekend. So I had my worst finish on that. Those rope climbs were just silly. Those were so freaking tall. Those legless rope climbs. So those caught me up a bit. That's definitely not one of my best movements, and so that kind of ruined a solid start for me. But then I had great performance. The following performances were good. The ruck I did really well, and I'm used to having a swim as one of the first few events, and I always start out higher. It was just a different way to enter the weekend. Yeah. So I just kind of started out in a little bit of a hole and couldn't work myself out.
I think that got to everybody because I talked to a lot of the athletes that said,
well, obviously a lot of people got cut earlier that necessarily we know are very fit, and it's because something happened early on.
Yeah. And it was like, you can't have any weakness at all where the other games, it was like, okay, well, my strengths are going to pick
balance
up.
100%, that's what I'm saying. Like you have the whole weekend to kind of show a variety and a compilation of your skill.
If they put the first event though was a good event, I think for general judging of fitness, I think it was a really good.
It was
estimate. But
it's just so aggressive.
But going into let's say the ruck is going to knock out a lot of people that are really good CrossFitters, and I don't know. It's so hard. I go back and forth of what's the best way to do it.
Well, the tests are all good. I just think that cutting after every event instead of a couple, how they're talking about doing it, this coming season is that, they're going to take an average, like where you're at after the average of the first 3 events, then they do a cut instead of after every event where better. Maybe you put 2 events that are very opposite sort of things together that maybe you get an average of those 2
I see what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense because swimming or track, what we were talking about, you're doing the same thing over and over and over.
You have specialist types of tests.
So it's okay because it's not like I've got to run hurdles and then the next event I have to do discus and then the next event I have to do javelin or pole vault. It's I'm running hurdles. So my times are probably going to get faster and faster. Like swimming, you're going to do butterfly. But if you're doing Mary and then into a ruck and then into a it's really not fair.
Right.
And so I agree with you there.
Or it's just, or it's like the order. It's like maybe if this would have came before this, then some, and everybody talks about that this year. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe you do a set of 2 or 3 events before you make the next cut. Just because it gives you more of a balanced picture of fitness. But that's not the way they wanted to go this year. And I think this year was based off of a lot of generalized, finding the best CrossFitter. They didn't really let the specializations come out till the top 10 were established. But at that point, it's kind of then you're only going to you're not going to get to see the specialists do anything, which is maybe what they were going for.
I think this year was a lot about saving money.
Yeah. Oh, well, yes. If we're going to be honest, that was definitely a large item on the agenda. But it was very interesting. I don't know.
When did you find out you were pregnant?
So moving forward.
No, I just because I want to put it into perspective with the games.
Well, this is how this went. So I came off the games being like, you know what? I had a really rough, I don't want to say really rough, but an interesting season. There was just a lot going on with kind of just like my support systems and a lot of growing pains within like my network of like coaches, and with the changes in the scenes of like the schedule of like all the sanctionals and all that. It's just like a very weird year of transition for everybody. Anyways, so coming off the games, I was just kind of like, I love doing this, and I know I'm the fittest I've ever been, but I placed the worst I've ever placed. And so I'm not quite sure how I feel about this. And I was like, I'm just going to take some time and see how I feel and see if I want to do this again. Because it's taken me probably till October of every year to feel like I want to hurt in the gym again. And I'm like, if the Open's in October, like, I don't know, like, what sort of timeline I'm going to be on. So that also threw a wrench in everything. So anyways, we went on vacation. We always go on a vacation right after the games. My husband's a teacher, and so he has to start back to school. So we took a no fitness involved vacation.
Is he a big fitness guy too?
Oh yeah. Okay. He comes from like endurance background. So he's done Ironman World Championship.
Wow. In Kona.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, he got back into, then he found CrossFit and realized he was not built for CrossFit, but it also very much motivated him. But now that I'm kind of obviously taking a step back, he wants to do more triathlon. So yeah, we're very athletic people. Okay. And so, but yeah, he's a huge CrossFit fan, like knows way more about every single person and their stats than like anybody should. Big fanboy. So, that has been fun for us though, obviously. But anyways, so yeah, we went on vacation and we were just like, let's see what nature, like, he's, 34, I'm 32. We were just like, this is something we want to do. Maybe now's the time, maybe it's not. And so we just kind of were like, let nature take over. And, if something happens, then we know that that's what's meant to be. And if it doesn't, then maybe I'll consider competing. And lo and behold, first week of September, I took a pregnancy test, and
it worked.
It looks like that it could have perhaps been on that exact trip that, when we went for it, it clicked and the timing was right. So yeah, it was literally like the week after the game.
Because I said, it would have been funny too if like you were pregnant while you did the
yeah
games.
Well, that's also something that, like, I mean, if you look at some of like Cara is again who I've talked to a few times about this, I was like, she must have been pregnant like soon after, like if you do the math on her. So I was like, was she pregnant at the games? But no, it was not at the games. We were definitely like, we're very vigilant and like, we can't be having any of that happen while I'm definitely pursuing this career. But like
but you wouldn't even know.
I know, but like, you're also not in a place like that at the game. You're like leading up to the games, like you're just focused on competing. So like after, we were just like, let's just let it go. Let's just see what happens. And so it was a very, very quick turnaround, which is crazy because you go from, I've described this to people, going from like your absolute like fittest peak of your whole entire year to like soon after you're like having all this weird shit going on with your body as a pregnant lady, and you're what is happening?
Was it tough for you? Did you have a tough pregnancy?
First trimester was rough, which in my mind I was like, oh my gosh, I'm fitter and like healthier than any other girl that's ever been pregnant, so like I'm not gonna have any of this stuff happen to me.
And you still
literally like I was struck down. Like the first day I felt like sick. I was just like, oh, woe is me, like I'm the worst ever.
Because I tell my wife that she's being a
wimp. Dude, seriously though, like I would look at my husband every day and I'd be like, I wish you knew what this felt like. I can't even.
I tell my wife,
I'm
like, look, I see these CrossFit women because they work out all the time. It doesn't even faze them. It's so easy for them.
That's the thing, is I thought that's how I'd be, but actually because I'm so used to being in such control and being like well rested and well fed and well recovered, like I'm not used to like feeling sick and feeling tired, because like if I want to sleep 10 hours, I'm gonna sleep 10 hours. If I want to, and now it's like this little tiny seed was like controlling everything going on in my body, and I couldn't do anything about it. And I'm like, why do I feel this way?
I think
it was so frustrating.
I was listening to a podcast or NPR where they were talking about, they've tried to figure out what the equivalent of like what women go through being pregnant. So they studied these men that were running a marathon every single day for 30 days.
Oh, crap.
And they did it 6 days a week. They took 1 day off each week. So they did 6 on, 1 off for a full month. And they said that was the closest they could come to, I think they were talking about like caloric expenditure, like the amount of energy required to be pregnant. And I did this, like, I keep talking about this long run. And I kept thinking about it, about like how hard it was. But I was like, it's not like being pregnant, because that's just never ending.
Yeah.
You're holding this thing. Like I've got 2 kids. When I hold, my child's 20 pounds now. And when I have to hold them for like an hour, I'm like, that was the worst hour of my
horrible
life. Like my bicep feels like it's tearing, like the isometric hold.
Yeah.
And I want to give them to someone else to hold for a while. And why am I being such a pussy? And I think you can't give it away. You are like, it's here.
Well, we're
not leaving.
I mean, I'm not there to handling that much weight yet. But it is just, like I said, that first trimester was like nothing I ever expected to happen. And I just was like used to eating healthy and like being able to like work out like high volume. And there were days where like I would go to there were a couple days I went to the gym and I was literally just like, I would start to like do a warm up jog and I'd have to walk and I'm just like, I got to go home. I can't even make myself do this. I think
it's good that you did that though.
But it was just so, I'm just like, what is like, is this what this is like? Like I did not know it was going to be, and I didn't eat a vegetable for like a solid 7 weeks at least. It just made you sick. I ate pizza like 2 or 3 times a week. Like nothing sounded good. The foods that I was used to eating, I wanted nothing to do with. It was, and it was more of a mental thing for me because like I said, I'm just so used to being accountable to like my choices of like, I'm making good choices for my health and my fitness and everything that I cared about so deeply for years. And now I'm just like, none of that sounds like anything I want right now.
Are you still working out now?
Yeah. I mean, I stuck it out and I worked out through all of it. There were just a few days where like, I just didn't you just can't, I just couldn't wrap my brain around the fact that, like I said, this little tiny, like less than an ounce, like thing was ruining me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, I don't understand what's happening. So yeah, we've been out of that now. We're well into the second trimester.
So what are you doing workout wise now?
Yeah. So I'm, I have been doing a lot more affiliate class, which has been so much fun. I'm not very limited yet on like things I can't do. I stopped doing like muscle ups and pull ups a couple weeks ago, because just the stretching feeling, I was like, I don't know if that's something I want to push.
What about like toes to bar?
I went ahead and threw those in too. I'm just like, nah, it's fine. I get real archy with some of my gymnastics shapes. I'm less of the hollow, arch hollow and more of like a big bendy circle.
Yeah.
So anyways, those have been about the only things I've decided to forego. Everything else I'm still able to mostly do. I haven't snatched, cause it freaks me out. Like when they do my ultrasound, I'm like, that's literally where I put the barbell when I snatch. I'm like, I'm not going to bang that thing in there. Like mentally for me, I'm just like, I can't do that.
Somebody said it best to me. When they talked to their doctor, they were like, what workouts should I do and shouldn't I do? And they're like, well, use common sense.
Yeah.
Where do you think?
I know people do it though, to where like, I'm like, I know this can be done, but I just couldn't do it in good conscience. And then it's like, you can snatch off your leg, like, snatch off your quads instead of off your freaking hip. And I'm just like, then I'm just going to ruin like my bar path for when I can snatch. Like, I'm just like, we're not going to do it. So yeah, we're just doing a lot of dumbbell snatches and muscle snatching. But yeah, I'm doing mostly affiliate class. Plus I'll do like an extra, like, skill set, and then maybe an extra little, like, I don't know. I throw in a little extra work here and there. So I'm in the gym about 90 minutes to 2 hours at the most. What?
I love that you're pregnant. You're 20 weeks pregnant. You're like, yeah, I'm just in there 90 to 2 hours,
I mean, everybody knows you're not like doing work the entire time. And I feel like people freak out whenever I'm like, I train for 5 hours a day, and they're just like, what? And I'm like, I'm at the gym for 5 hours, but I'm only training like 4.5.
Still so weird.
But yeah, so we're talking like, 90 minutes gets the job done for me these days, which maybe is excessive, but this is, again, more of a mental journey than physical.
I don't know anything, but I think it's going to make your like delivery process a lot easier.
People say that. So I'm we cross our fingers that works.
Have you looked at the birth fit stuff at all?
I'm actually working with, I haven't felt the need to modify super a lot yet. But I know once things get a little bit bigger and heftier towards the third trimester and then coming back postpartum, I'm most concerned with not doing anything too crazy too quick.
Sure.
I'm working with one of the girls that is, I would say, pretty well known in the field for that. Is that sort of
Lindsay?
No, Brianna Battles.
Okay.
But
I'm friends with Lindsay Matthews, Dr. Lindsay Matthews.
Oh, okay, right on.
She was one of the.
I was going to say, I know there's like a couple different programs. But anyway, so pregnant and postpartum athlete is. Yeah, so I'm excited to have that. It's like a matter of when I'm willing to like give into it, where I just know we've got 20 more weeks ahead of us, where I'm like, if I start modifying things too much now, the monotony, constantly varied. That's what we're here for, right? So I'm trying to keep it as varied as much as I can, as long as possible. Plus, I like to feel like I believe I'm pretty knowledgeable and like wise when it comes to being smart as an athlete as well. I'm level 2 certified. Like I know like how and when to modify things. I feel like.
Do you coach at all?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't coaching as much, just because my gym support me so much with competitive training that they realize like that's my major focus. So the past couple of years, more in the off season, I would coach, and then they're just like, don't worry about coaching during like your major competitive times.
Who are your sponsors?
Sponsors will, I mean, over the course of the years, we've had a variety, but Ramwad has been a major supporter of me. Misfit Athletics, who has been like the programming and the coaching that I've been under for the past 3 years. Misfit Athletics.
Okay. Who's the coaching there?
Well, they have a group of guys.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a collective effort it started with like 5 guys up in Portland, Maine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they're pretty well established, like you have like Invictus, Comp Train, Misfit, yeah. So anyways, they've always been great. And then I've kind of had a variety of other sponsors throughout, like each season kind of brings on a new wave. Pure Spectrum, hemp.
Oh yeah,
one of the newer ones that I've had. They've been great within the last year.
They work with Hunter.
Yes. Yeah. I hung out with Hunter at Lake Tahoe. Yeah. So it's like I said, it's kind of changes with every season, and it kind of changes. Like I'm in a different, place now. So like pursuing, different performance-based type of products in that field, not necessarily like as applicable as it once was. So I'm still like obviously very like have great friends through everybody I've worked with. I don't have any like necessarily like burned bridges through any sponsors, but it's
no
just kind of like it's
no
like
enemies?
What's right for the time.
Is there anyone that you get on the court or whatever they call it, the field, the whatever it is? Is there one girl that you look at and you're like, there she is?
Oh God, no. I really, honestly, like I said, I'm not really like I've never really been like externally motivated by other people, which is like a swimming thing is like very clock related.
Sure.
So, when you play, like either you win or I win or our team wins or your team advances or we lose, like I don't really come from that like sort of passion. It's more of like, if I'm not a better version of like myself, if I don't swim faster than my other time, then like you don't feel it. So it's less about the people and more about the personal achievement, which is like not a cop out.
I find that with a lot of CrossFitters that they seem to be in competition with themselves and not, or the,
if you're a mature CrossFitter, like you like if you're going anywhere in the sport, like if you don't have that mentality, you're probably gonna like it's gonna be tough. So,
but I think there's also amongst CrossFitters, I always hear, especially off the air, none of them want to talk about it on the air. There's always that guy that's like a thorn, or I hear it more with the guys than the girls. The guys, I hear it. There's an athlete that irks them. There's an athlete that they don't think maybe got there the right way.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, we all know. And with the women, I find it's more that the women are upset with a woman in CrossFit who is a giant CrossFit personality that isn't a good athlete.
Yes, that is definitely a thing, because the sport it should be built on achievement and like your ability to be a good athlete, but influencer is a real thing, I guess. And that's, carries as much weight as a accomplishment and ability. And I'm just like, what?
And as we move forward, probably even more. I mean, with the way
the internet, you just can't,
because
2020 is coming, man.
It happens in my business. You can be the best stand-up comedian in the world, but they don't give a shit. They want to know
understand
how many
who these people are that, like, I care. Like, I respect people for what they've done and what they stand for and who they are and what they do. I don't respect people for, like, how they look and, like,
it's been going
the
on,
angles or, like, whatever the shit. I'm like, why do people follow that or like that? I don't get it.
It's been going on since the beginning of time. It's art versus commercialism.
Yeah.
There are people out there. When I first got into stand-up comedy, you wanted to be successful, you wanted to be famous, but you also wanted to be really funny. And there were people that said, I'm just going to be really funny. I'm going to be the funniest guy in the world. And there were people that went, I'm going to be the most famous. And within the community, nobody respected the most famous. Mm-hmm. Everybody wanted that fame, but everybody went, I don't respect him for the route he went. I respect the guy, but you're like, but I don't want to be that guy that's really good at the craft. I want to be as good as him, but look, he has nothing.
Like, you should, it's like, it shouldn't be one or the other, which luckily I think in this sport, like, the better, like, obviously the girls that really do, like, they are the best and they actually are good people. Like, I love seeing that. Like, Tia is by far, like, she's always been super nice to me, even as a rookie, like, so nice to me out of the gate for no reason. She had no reason to ever acknowledge me or be nice to me. And, like, the fact that she is well accomplished, can, like, she should be, like, highly followed and have, all the support because she's good at her job and what she does, but she's also, like, a good person and a kind person. So, like, like Sarah, like, there's just girls that, like, I really like them as a person and they're really good at what they do. Like, those people, like, I'm glad for them. Like, that's great. I've always just said, you know what, like, I'm not going to be the most popular. I know I'm not the most fit, but, like, I know the people that do support me and that do like me, like, I have always been pride myself on being, like, very real and just like kind of candid and, like, no filtered and not trying to, like, be somebody or win somebody's, like, achievement or affections or whatever. So, like, whoever does like me and does follow me or whatever, I know it's because, like, they truly like me and like, believe I am worth supporting.
Well, I mean, I always thought
which
sports,
is the really funny version of what you were saying.
I thought sports is the equalizer, because it's the cream's going to rise to the top and people are just going to follow the top people. And then I realized that's not true. You look at the NFL, you look at, like, Colin Kaepernick, for example.
Yeah.
He's not that good of a quarterback. And he still is on contract with Nike. There's guys out there that are busting their ass that are, like, so good. And, maybe they could be the starting quarterback of an NFL team. And he'd be a backup anywhere he plays, but he's getting more publicity he's a whole different situation, but there's many guys like him that exist in the NFL, in all kinds of sports, where they just somehow become popular and don't have the substance. And it goes on more with CrossFit women than it does men.
Yeah.
Because men are very much like, who's number one?
It's an alpha thing.
I'm going to follow him. Like, whatever Matt Fraser's doing, that's what you should do because he is the best. Whereas with CrossFit women, it's like, oh my God, she's got so many followers. Oh my God, look at this. And I
freaking hate Instagram. Yeah. Like, I do it and I'm, like, in it.
Nobody likes it. Because
you have to, like, it's like you have to be.
Nobody likes it.
I hate how it's taken over, like,
our lives.
And it's given people such, like, an angle to, like, be a different, like, you don't have to be who you really are. And, like, you don't really get to know a person.
It's brutal. I think I have this theory. It's either just going to get so big that it's going to completely consume our lives, or it's going to completely implode. I know right now they're talking about, there's, like, countries where they're working on children because of they're trying to get them off internet addiction and everything. And I think it's going to end up being considered like a drug or like alcohol or gambling. And they're going to go, I mean, with our kids, it's like social media is non-existent yet for the 5-year-old, but she only gets one show a day and she gets, And my wife and I were talking about my son. We're like, no video games, like no consoles in our house, no games on his phones. Like get out of the house, go play sports.
Yeah.
No.
That's what everybody says. But then when your kid's like crying, you're like, here, just have a freaking tablet, or like,
it's almost,
you do what you have to do.
It's almost
sometimes,
impossible. And you do it when you have to. And it is that safety, like that fallback that you're like, I need to make a phone call. She needs to make a phone call. Here's the phone.
I mean, and I don't think that's not that bad. It's just, it's whenever you need like it's the validation, and it's when that becomes like what you're seeking through it. Like you said, well, I mean, the addiction in general of just like a screen and a phone is horrible. Or the fact that I can't watch a commercial break without picking up my phone. Like, it's horrible.
I'm terribly addicted.
The whole like red light situation, that's really bad. But like this is the truth of how it is. But when it comes to kids, it's just like 10-year-olds with Instagram pages that their parents run for them. Like, we don't know what that does to a person, because we haven't seen a generation that comes through something like that. But that's not, as an adult, I don't think that's going to lead to anything good. Yeah. So like that stuff is terrifying.
I said to my neighbor down the street, she's really good not letting her kids on phones, and they're always outside playing. And I said, how'd you do it? I said, I really don't want my daughter on the phone and play. She goes, monkey see, monkey do. She goes,
you are so right.
She goes, are you on your phone? And I'm like, constantly. And she's like, get off of it.
I'm working. Like, that's that's how, my husband and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's always like doing something recreational. And he's like, you're on your phone. I'm like, I am working. Like, I am doing something. But like, you're right though. Like, it's not fair for me to say it and not.
We're bitching here. And then we're making something that we're going to put on the internet for people to watch or listen to. And that's why
get off of here. Go away.
Yeah, don't listen to us. I have these internal battles with myself where it's like, for a while, I was like, am I providing something entertaining? Am I providing something informative? Yeah. And am I giving people value? And if I'm not, I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah. And when I meet people and they say things like, my other podcast was a comedy podcast, and so many people I've met over time who've said, I was severely depressed, I was suicidal, I was this, I was that. And I had a comedy club like yelling at me one time because this woman walked out of my show thinking I made a lupus joke when I made it was a psoriasis joke. It wasn't about lupus. And they're like telling me that I'm like a bad person. And while they're doing it, this guy comes up to me and tells me how he was going to kill himself until he found my podcast. And I just looked at them and I went, fuck you.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't you ever tell me like how I should do my material or how I should do whatever I do. But this show, I love talking to people and, like people listen because they want to take from you. Like there's probably women out there who are pregnant that are CrossFitters going, and they feel a lot better about themselves knowing that it's okay to be sick. It's okay to not feel good about themselves. It's okay to, and that if you didn't feel good, that I hate it because now my wife probably hears us and now it gives her more reason to bitch and moan about everything. Just
tell him he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So like, and that was like the major thing that, like I said, competing is, and I have a lot of other endeavors that I want to pursue. Competing was something like I didn't know I was going to get into. I didn't know it was something I'd be good at. Didn't know if it was something I could actually even achieve. So like the fact that I lived that life for 3-4 years, like I said, it was a very selfish. Like I felt very selfish because I was always very much like, this is my energy and I delegate it where I want it to be. And if it's like I don't want to do that, I don't want to go there. I don't, I wouldn't do things I didn't want to do, and I would put myself almost first before almost anything. Obviously my husband and whatnot, but like but it's a very liberating lifestyle to just be like, this is how I'm going to live and this is what I'm going to do. But I really truly want to be an inspiration. And I think everybody says that, but what people don't know, and that's why I love doing podcasts and getting to talk more about where I come from and why I am, how I am, where I am, is because like you said, how did you do this? What's wrong with you? What's going on inside of you that you can do this? Because it's you need to connect with people on realizing they've had similar struggles or battles or journeys. things I've been through in my life before I was a CrossFitter, before I went to the CrossFit Games, or like, oh my gosh, you went through this and you still were able to achieve X, Y, and Z, or like, that's what really matters. It's not what freaking place you got, or when I say like, oh, just 18th, like at the end of the day, like no one knows that and it doesn't matter, but like having the conversations about like the experiences had is like truly what's going to impact people. So like here I am chasing, like I said, these girls and thinking like, what are we doing here? And like, I'm fighting for my life for another day of competition, but like, why does this matter? Because it doesn't, because there's 150 of us here and we're all just trying to be better than each other and fight it out. And this isn't even really what matters. What matters is like connecting with people about, the lessons and the trials and the journey. And so ultimately, like going forward from there, that's kind of, once I, obviously found out I was pregnant, but I'm just like, that's a whole new like world of life I get to live, and like more people that I can like interact with and connect with. Cause I think that if you don't do something with whatever platform you're on, then it's like, what good is it? Like, you're just like, I just think it's that becomes selfish if you're not truly looking to do something with whatever you've built.
I'm amazed that you had that inner conflict or that kind of philosophical,
right?
What am I doing? Why do I do this? I wonder sometimes with CrossFitters if they do, because to be as good as you are, you almost have to have tunnel vision and just go, there's the prize. That's what I need. I can't think about anything else. I can't second guess. I can't question. And here you are, as good as you are, that you were like, yeah, I'm thinking, why do I do this? What is this worth? This is this, and that you do have that, because we all, us civilians that do other things, we all have that with our daily lives. But I always felt like in something like sport, where you're so good and you've got to get to the top, you can't question yourself and you can't have that. So that's another thing for people. It's good to know that you do go through that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, I don't know if other people have that. I don't know. And now that I like hear like what you said, the things that I like kind of thought, like that sounds kind of rare. Like, I don't think people are like in the warm up area at the games, like having this train of thought. Probably not.
Not then, but like going back to like your inspirational thing and providing something. I read David Goggins' book after hearing him on Joe Rogan and everything. And I had always talked about doing the long run that I did. And I went, I'm going to do this run. And I knew I could do it because I heard him talk about how painful and what he'd gone through and how he overcame it to do it. And people kept saying to me, why are you doing this dumb run? This is so stupid. And my daughter and I were talking one day, and she said something like, why was it 68? Like, why did you do that? And I said, it was 68 miles. And I said, I did it for you. And she said, she didn't get it. And I said, and I'll tell her later when she's older, I said, I did it so you'll never quit. Like,
yep.
I'm an example that you'll grow with, that you went, my dad did this, so I can do this,
right.
Or I can do that, or whatever I do, I know I can do this because, so like my motivation was like, keep going, don't quit. You can't be a quitter. You need to prove, because every monkey see monkey do. Mm-hmm. Everything I do in life, they're going to recreate and do, and I'm their model. So, that was a nice way for me to go when I question myself and go, what am I doing this for? I'm taking time away from them, or I'm, my wife could use me right now, or this is stupid, at my age to like beat my body up like this. But I just kept going, this is why I'm doing it. And that's
principle is definitely like always a good reason.
But the selfishness, I was extremely selfish. I don't think you should ever, like, I get that, because when I was a stand-up comic and that's all I had was me I would travel anywhere, anytime, anyhow, and it was all about me. And then when I had a child, it was, oh my God, it's all about, like, being a really selfish person. Yeah. I just always assumed I'd be a really selfish person, but I'm not. It completely flipped. And I was like, oh, wow, how this can change you as a person.
Well, and I know it's like it's only for a season. So like, hell yeah, you take advantage of it. And my husband's super supportive and was like, yes, like you got invited here. Like, you go take that trip and you go there. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to travel. He's like, Kenzie, this isn't always going to be here. And I'm like,
he's right.
I know, but I'm tired, but he's just like, no, you go. And I'm like, okay, fine. And so like, I come from, like I said, a lot of experiences, but like one thing is I've had people taken from me way too early to where I'm just like, I know that life is like way too short to like not love what you do every day, to not be excited about to not feel like what you do matters, to, not be able to like look back and be like, oh my, I've done a lot, so there's a lot of reasons of kind of how I made the decisions, and not even that, but like things have just fallen into place, and like you take opportunities, and like the right path is going to obviously like unfold for you. But yeah, like I never want to look back and, no one wants to have regret or whatever you want to call it about life. But, yeah, so I knew that if I was kind of having this inner turmoil, it was like, I want to be able to not have I don't want to live like that, So yeah, I kind of just let your heart lead you, and that's like what happened to me.
I'm excited to see where your journey goes from here.
Me too.
It's no, I mean it is. It's exciting, and
there's a lot
look, I mean, to me, sometimes everybody always looks at the top CrossFitters, and it's great. That's amazing, and you guys are freaks, and it's awesome to watch. But I'm also a big fan of you and I were talking about what's his name, Logan? Is it
Logan?
The guy with one arm.
Amazing.
I send whenever one of my friends is bitching about an injury. My sister was just doing it. She's like, my knee hurts. I can't do this. I can't do this. And I just would send her a video of him snatching or whatever he's doing. And I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. You have no reason to complain about anything. Fix your shit. Like they say in Move You. Fix your shit. Get on. Keep going. Life is short. So I think the masters, people that are still accomplishing stuff at an older age, women that go through pregnancy, come back from it, start competing again, or whatever they do, moving on, whatever you're going to do with your life. It's awesome. So I commend you. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do from here. And
it's a little bit overwhelming. Like I will say, it's like, even when you anticipate it, it's still kind of bittersweet and I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe I'll come back. I don't know.
Yeah. But you're going to be with, and you said you're not finding out.
No. Well, so we're finding out in like 4 days. We're having a cake, gender cake.
Do you hear that?
He's not happy.
Do you hear
now.
that? He's probably right about to eat right now.
Yeah.
And he gets so cranky when he wants to eat. He's the best little boy. And then all of a sudden he wants to eat. He's like,
good. I know the feeling. I'm the exact same one.
Yeah, me too. But
we'll see. Stay tuned on all that.
We did the gender reveal as a cake.
Yeah.
And, I do a whole bit in my show about it.
Well, that's the thing is I was like, I don't want to be like some people are so extra on the internet with like their gender reveal. Like I'm like, we're not being these people. We're not doing any of that like foolish stuff. But my family is back in Illinois. They're obviously, when we have this baby, like they're not going to necessarily be able to be around and as active, probably in their lives as they want to be. So I'm like, we can share this milestone of like finding out boy or girl with them.
It's just bad because you want a girl and your husband wants a boy.
That's the thing.
And then if you are the loser on that day, you have to put on an Academy Award-winning acting performance.
Really a loser?
Yes.
In this situation,
yes.
Really?
Yes, because look, I have a girl, and she is.
Well, you've got one of each, so you guys won. Both won.
Fucking love my little girl more than anything in the whole world, but I wanted a boy. And it's like
I think all guys do for sure.
Yeah, it's a psychological thing.
Yeah.
Although that little boy, I don't know what's wrong.
Maybe he doesn't like the food he has given.
I'm gonna go check.
Are you concerned?
Yeah, I am a little bit. I'm wondering if my wife's taking a nap or something. Oh, let me just check.
No way. She would not wake. She would totally wake up for that.
I just want to see why. Lauren?
That's good of you. Ooh. Well, what was going on? Oh, well.
What's wrong, little guy?
And all of a sudden, we're fine. Are there even tears?
Yeah, he was sad.
What's the matter?
Oh, look, he's not going to want to sit. Okay, we're going to end the show, okay? Look at how he looks at the screen.
Oh, yep, what's his name?
This is, what's your name? He's the same name as me, but we call him Cruz.
Really?
It's Edward
Shut
Charles.
Up.
Edward Charles Ift. What are you? Edward Charles Ift the Fourth.
Wait, why do you call him Cruz?
My wife that's his name. We just gave him Edward Charles Ift because, here comes his food.
Really?
Because we didn't want to plague him with my name.
Oh, right on. But like that, you just kind of came up with that for you're not going to go with like Charlie or something.
I
like
wanted
the middle name. I don't know. I'm just curious where that.
I
came
wanted
from.
Charlie.
Yeah.
And she won with Cruz.
Well, that's like, I'm not gonna lie, that's on my list.
Cruz is a name?
of boy
Oh
names.
yeah.
Yeah.
How would you spell it?
I don't know. CRUZ.
That's what he is.
I don't know. What do you think?
You like that? Huh?
Oh, he's happy now.
You happy now?
Yeah, we'll see. So we'll know if we're going pink or blue or whatever.
Well, we did the cake, so good luck.
Yeah, I know. We weren't gonna do that route, but we did it. We're gonna do it for great grandma.
Well, don't do the shooting the gun into tannerite. Did you ever hear that story?
No.
There was a guy in I think it was Arizona.
Oh.
Did you just give him fish oil? Okay. Good.
You might have spit some.
I think it just came right back out. So, this guy, they set up, there's this thing that rednecks do where they shoot tannerite into some kind of pyrotechnic or something, and you shoot it with a gun, and when the bullet hits it, it creates an explosion.
Okay.
And it's like legal. Like these guys, my
Sure.
friends do it in Idaho, and it's like from like 50 yards away, you shoot something, and it's like,
yeah,
and it creates this huge explosion, and they love it. You know, it's like,
yeah.
yeehaw, that's
Yeah,
you shoot it again. And some guy did it in Arizona, and the explosion, whatever they put in the tannerite, it was either pink or blue, was going to come out.
Did some shit bad happen?
Yeah, just a 40,000 acre wildfire.
Oh God. See, that's the sort of stuff that I'm like, why? Why does that have to, like, just
I was
all
like,
the fails?
I was like, you have to name your kid Blaze after that.
Oh my God, that's funny. Actually, that's not even a bad name. That's
funny. It has
funny.
to be the name.
Dude, that's funny.
But so funny that's like, that would be the worst. Like, hey, before you were born,
sure,
Dad kind of created one of the worst wildfires in Arizona history.
One of the national news stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you came into this world.
All of those gender reveal fails are like, that's good watching on the internet. But I'm just like, this is like, why? This is 2019. Like my mom, I know my parents didn't do this shit. Like this is silly. Like,
it is silly. And it's brand new. I feel like it's only happened the last 2 or 3 years.
I saw this one where this girl, you can like hire her. I don't know what her deal is, and I don't know why anybody would want like a bottomless girl, like a naked on the bottom girl.
I know why.
What?
Oh, you're like, I don't know why anybody would want a bottomless girl.
No,
I'm like, I want one.
Well, what happens is she farts, and it's like a puff of blue or pink.
I saw it.
It was on Barstool, I think.
Yeah,
but I'm like,
that was awesome.
Why would anybody want that in their
that's
like
hilarious.
intimate relationship?
That's hilarious. I think
that is.
I think what happened was the guy got his wife to do it, and I don't know. I don't know.
Well, we're not doing that.
I don't know
one,
the logistics of that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
The joke I do on stage is that I go, my wife's whole family was hoping it was pink and it was a girl, and I was hoping it was chocolate and I could leave.
That's
be like,
really
that's
funny.
not my kid.
That's really funny.
But and that's not racist. That's observational.
Hilarious.
I would have been like, hey, that's not my kid.
That's good though. That's really good.
But,
I'm gonna tell my husband about that.
Yeah. So have fun with that.
Well,
think about me when you're doing it.
We announced our pregnancy we announced it on Halloween. And so I came up with this cute idea we like laid out a whole bunch of candy, and we took like Hershey chocolate bars, and I cut out one of the squares in the middle and put like a Sour Patch Kid in it. So it was like him and me. And that's how we announced it, because it was like Halloween and candy. And my husband was so worried. And I'll tell the world this on this podcast. He was like so worried. He's like, but we're not black. Why are we in these chocolate? I was like, honey, I don't think people are like.
Yeah, you don't have to get like white chocolate.
I know. He was like, should we use the cookie and cream one? I was like, I don't think they're going to be concerned about that part. But anyways, yeah, that's really funny. So
your husband, Iron Man, though. That's pretty impressive that he made the Kona.
Well, he didn't necessarily qualify by doing it. He wrote one of those, like the sidebars that come up on like the ads and the shit that you think is like not real. Well, he actually like clicked on one and they're like, write an essay for a chance to get into the lottery of the Iron Man. And he wrote it. And
then he had
picked,
to do it.
Yeah, and then he was actually featured on the broadcast, which they just did, like I think for this year's one, like last weekend maybe. Anyways, he was featured.
So he did
on
it last year?
No, he did it in 2011.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was featured on the NBC broadcast, and he had the whole like NBC came to his house and like got like his backstory. Like they did a little feature on like a handful of people.
What's his backstory? Does he have some?
So like he wrote this essay. And he used to work, he's a teacher. He's going into like his 10th year of teaching. And he used to work at this residential school for like, I would say developmentally disabled. It's behaviorally BD kids. So they were just like gotten kicked out of like schools, had to go to this residential school, had really, bad behavioral problems. A lot of them have like psychological issues and whatnot. Anyways, he's a PE teacher. And so he just wrote about like his students and how he wants to like inspire them. And, like these kids don't have like necessarily parents that'll teach them like athletic skills.
Sure.
So he's just like, I want to do it. And so that they can be like proud and excited. And
I keep saying I'm going to do one. And, everybody's like, are you doing Hawaii? I'm like, no, you got to qualify for that one. You've got to be like,
yeah.
And then I'm like, there are little ways to get, and I'm like, what would my essay be? I have a really big ego, and I have to do this so that I can feel better than people when I'm done.
That'll surely get you in. If it doesn't work, I don't know. But they always pick like the really inspirational stories. I don't know. You got to find a.
Yeah.
Come on, man, make him cry.
All right.
But he also told me though when he was there, my husband's like 6'2". Like when I met him, he was like 175 pounds. He's like 210 now because CrossFit works miracles. But anyways, so he was like, I was the biggest guy there because all of these like people who qualify and are super really fit freak triathletes are like 150 pound like men. They're like real like they're freaking aerodynamic,
they're
tiny little guys. So I don't know, man.
I'm kind of
you go do it, like you want to be in with a crowd that you want to fit in with, because he was just like,
I'm 175 pounds right now.
You're too beefy to be in
I'd probably have to lose 20 pounds or so.
But
I lost 20 pounds due to diarrhea once. I had 3 weeks of diarrhea. It was like the worst food poisoning. Real? I didn't know what was wrong with me. Parasite, fungus, whatever it was, no doctor could find it. And it was just this summer. I got it like right in Madison. Like it was right after Madison.
What year?
This year.
Oh, I had a lot of people had stomach problems in 2017. They blamed it on us all being rookies, but like people worry about the water up there, I think. I
just got so sick. I think mine was I went to New Jersey the next day and got sick in New Jersey. But for 3 weeks after, and I went down to 155 pounds, and my wife was like,
yeah, that's like a real illness.
My wife was like, you can't stand next to me. Like this is.
But you'd be super prime for Ironman shape.
Yeah. Well, thanks for doing the show. I really appreciate it. So they can find you. Where's your Instagram?
Oh, at It's Kenzi Riley.
After we talk about we hate it.
I know. And you know what? Like I said I wasn't going to be that woman, that pregnant lady that all she talked about was pregnancy. But like, I also can't just keep talking about competing in CrossFit, because I also, so to all the followers that followed me for my competitive prowess, I'm sorry, but like learn to embrace the pregnant lady in me, because that's all I got to offer these
There's
days.
A lot of pregnant ladies out there, or will be someday, or were. And it's Kenzie, Ken.
Kenzie, yeah. And I always say it's Kenzi Riley, and most people put at Kenzie, like at it's Kenzi Riley.
Oh, it is it's, or it's
yes.
Not? Oh, it's
at it's Kenzi Riley, not just at Kenzi Riley.
Did somebody have Kenzi Riley?
Oh, people, yeah. I think the freaking CrossFit Games did that. Like my first year, they tried to tag different athletes and stuff, and
they were calling you.
Yes.
They didn't give
you
your
put
right.
at Kenzi Riley and it didn't work.
And
so anyways, it's fine. But yeah, at it's Kenzi Riley. Which
all right, so follow her.
Kind of confusing.
And thanks for doing the show. And we look forward to seeing
nice
what's down the pipe for you.
Thank you.
What's
Me
gonna
too.
happen. That's a weird saying, down the pipe. We know what's.
Ooh,
that was a little bad innuendo.
That's good though.
All right. And thanks for listening to the show. Always go to iTunes, rate, review, comment, and check out our Patreon. And what else? Nothing else. Where am I this week?
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Yeah, I'm off for a couple weeks. I'll be the 3rd, 4th, 5th. I'll be in Sunnyvale at Rooster Teeth Feathers and up in Cupertino. I think I'll be at. I'll stop by Jason and Khalipa. So we'll probably have Jason on.
Jason,
I will definitely.